Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's look at some of the stocks on the move today in Europe. We're joined by Bloomberg's equities reporter Joe Easton. Happy Friday, Joe. Rubber hitting the road over at Michelin with some strong earnings. Why?
Happy Friday, yeah. So Michelin gaining today. We're up around 2% on that stock. Now, the company has actually warned a little bit of the impact of tariffs, so saying that people are already trying to buy cheaper tyres over in the US to prevent an impact from the US tariffs that are going to come in. But overall, as you say, the earnings actually looking pretty strong. It seems like they're actually managing to maintain their prices where they are, and that is actually making up for a bit of a drop down in volumes at the company. The auto parts sector, of course, really hit hard by tariff news over the past few months. This is kind of coming back up off a low on a 1 month basis, still down around 8% for Michelin, but today edging back up in Paris, up around 2%.
Yeah, interesting to hear from Citi's Beata Mante, their European strategist, Citi upgrading their call on auto stocks overnight, so suggesting that a lot of the negativity has been priced in. So from autos to the defence sector, Joe, you're looking at Saab.
Yeah, so Saab, this is the big Swedish defence firm. Now, the company, it's had some really strong orders, so the highest on record for the quarter of around $1.7 billion. Now, that is obviously because of the conflicts that have been going on, and that has been something that's been priced into these stocks, so they've had massive rallies. Therefore, even though record orders, that hasn't been enough to keep the analysts happy, and actually the stock dropped as much as 5% at the open of trading today. We're currently actually coming back up at the moment. That must have changed between me walking over to the studio, but we're actually up 2% now. So potentially analysts actually appreciating the high orders, but taking a little while to do so, because initially we saw a drop down. Company also giving some interesting comments around how they're managing to reduce the delivery time on getting those defence products over to their clients. So therefore, a bit of a positive. The stock actually reversing the early losses.
So that from Saab. Then Accor, the French hotelier. Really interesting points, sort of related to tariffs and the tensions with the US, but they've got some very interesting results out today.
Yeah, so Saab rising to the highest level in around a month. So analysts saying that the French hoteliers results are favourable, mostly pointing to positive demand, particularly in Europe. So the US was a little bit weak, and also China a little bit soft as well. Analysts are seeing a bit of a positive read across for some of the peers like IHG, Intercontinental Hotels, also Whitbread as well. So potentially that is looking a little bit stronger, and actually that stock was gaining around 3% at the open of trading as well. So it's a clean sweep of positive stock.
Yeah, it is. No, I think it's the stuff that I was mentioning about Accor is to do with the kind of it's basically anti-American sentiment, and whether people are therefore choosing to do different things with their holidays, particularly Canadians, for example. There's a concern about European visitors maybe avoiding the US because of that potential shift. So Accor,
I did see some good charts on that, where you could see the immediate drop down in US travel in recent months with all the tariff headlines. There was kind of an immediate impact on people's demand.
I mean, I think that's really noteworthy, isn't it? Just how quickly consumers are actually voting with their cash.
Just sentiment around where you want to go, immedially seeing the data just suddenly dropping.
Well, the CEOs of US airlines, and one of the CEOs yesterday saying that, look, I don't care how you phrase it, as far as we're concerned, we are seeing a recession.
That was Southwest.
Saying we are pulling back, and all the other airlines basically scrapping their forecast for the year. They cannot forecast out through the end of the year because of all that uncertainty, but they're already seeing consumers pulling back, at least on travel.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.